Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Reap the Harvest live. It's an early one. It's 7 a.m. here Central Time in Texas. It's 8 o'clock there in Florida with these two gentlemen. We've got Paul Skidmore, Matt Tack in the mix. We're going to kick in the intro and get into it. Boom. Matt, what's up? Good morning, sir. Paul, how are you?
What is up? Oh, man, it's good. We got Paulie Skidmore with us today.
Up and at him, baby.
Feeling good. Rise and grind, right? Rise and grind. You kicked Megan out of bed?
Oh, she's got the kids rolling. I heard one of them yelping there in the hallway. So you never know. There could be an invasion. Could be an enemy invasion here in a little bit.
I love it. That's the COVID-friendly environment we live in.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Beautiful. Hey, well, today I'm super pumped about this because so one of a mutual friend, I met Paul actually a couple weeks ago. It's kind of a random sighting. I was actually heading into a meeting at Armature Works here in Tampa, and I did not know who Paul was by any means, but we had a mutual friend that she had a meeting there. I had a meeting, and Paul showed up, and we hit it off. And so layering up, she kind of connected us too. And so super excited about what Paul's doing. Excited to get a little bit more info out of him and talk about getting welly. So Paul, man, what is going on?
Well, it's been a long 8 weeks, man. I didn't want to meet you in that circumstance, but I herniated a disc about 8.5 weeks ago, and I'm an ex-strength coach, massage therapist by trade, global connections with people across the whole world. It just so happens that here in Clearwater, there's a world-renowned manual therapy clinic that that helps individuals get out of like serious pain and malfunction with the human body. So, you know, I'm here for a reason, and we connected earlier. So now I'm back here getting my second kind of round of treatment. Kind of a unique approach, but you know, look, I have no more nerve pain. I have no more local pain. Now it's more about the function. So, you know, when a surgeon tells me that he wants to use the knife, I'm the type of guy that's avoiding that at all costs. So I'm great, man. I'm standing, I'm walking, I'm moving, no pain.
That's beautiful.
I'm launching a new company. I can't say anything bad. So
that's what we're here to talk about too, man. But I love the fact that that was the exchange. So him coming over to Clearwater, getting work on, led me meeting Paul. Some big things, obviously, for getting welly. So as you can see on his hat. So this is the most exciting thing. So we're gonna do probably a part 1, part 2, if you're cool with that. But the most exciting thing for me, right? I go by 3 layers in life. My 3 layers in life, I tend to focus the spiritual, the mindset, number 1. Number 2, health is wealth, and then I do the financial leg, right? What is going to be my vehicle to create wealth? So I layer it up in those 3 areas. And for the mindset on how it's like cognitively approached to like essentially the rest of the body, it has everything to do. My mindset is going to dictate how my health is actually interpreted on a day-to-day basis. So I shot a little bit. I run every morning. But one of the things I do is like habit stack, and I call habit stacking. I did 3 things this morning, right? I got up, I ran, but I also have a 1-year-old that, she causes some fits at about 4:45 in the morning when I wake up. So I usually throw her in the stroller and I run with her. So she's my roll dog. But I want to talk about a few different things. I want to talk about kind of the wealth perspective, how you came to where like this basically philosophy of welly, because I know there's a bunch of different things out there, but I love the concept of like welly. But like how individuals like us can kind of systematize our approach, and how Welly can help you do that, right? How Welly can just create more of a kind of a transparent approach to systematizing what our day looks like, and making it easy for us to live a healthier life, right? So I know it does a number of different things, and I'm going to let you build on that. But I want to kind of give you a backstory. So I want to back up a little bit. Give us a little bit of backstory, because you have, you said, obviously strength training background, massage therapist at a very elite level. So you're working with professional athletes. So dive into kind of like being at ASU, kind of going through, just maybe some obstacles you even went through to kind of get where you are today.
Yeah, sure. So background in kinesiology. I was working for a PT at the time in Arizona while going to Arizona State. Awesome opportunity to join the Diamondbacks for a year. So I got hands-on with pro baseball. And what I decided was, working with pro athletes in the actual team setting wasn't for me. A lot of travel, a lot of like sporadic spread out across the country, depending on where you are in the farm system. And so I went to the private sector. So I started working with just individuals one-on-one, and these weren't just athletes. They were CEOs, athletes. And then I had a niche to get people out of pain, kind of why I'm up here. They went through that exhausting period of, conventional medicine to maybe even chiropractic or physical therapy. And they were just kind of stuck. Right. Then I kind of got into this rut where, I was just sick of trying to trade my time one-on-one for money. And, I wanted to expand my business acumen and kind of explore other opportunities. So I got into medical device sales. And fortunately enough, I sold spinal screws for a large company called Stryker. Most people are familiar with them. They make beds, knees, hips. They're one of the largest in the world. So then I got to see the actual conventional side of medicine and how these neuro and orthopedic surgeons were operating on individuals and putting hardware into the body. And so I actually hated it. I was grinding, right? There were some days I was working 30 plus hours, on call, driving equipment to the hospital, covering surgeries. I fortunately got to cover Johns Hopkins University Hospital in Baltimore. So I got to see a lot of cool and unique cases. Did everybody need surgery in there? That's kind of an open-ended question. In my opinion, I think there's a lot of other valuable treatments and protocol options that someone could take. But long story short, after that short stint of about 3 years, I met some guys in the medical device space that were doing a startup company tracking the medical devices. And so from there, that's when I really got to deep dive into this entrepreneurial kind of realm, living lean, being a small partner, growing something from nothing to something. And so I got experience in that realm, raising capital, creating business development, sales plans, creating marketing plans, working with branding and marketing companies to create a cool brand that we can go out into the market. And so it kind of dawned on me that technology's cool, and I miss the wellness side of the stuff that I used to do with the one-on-one, and I miss connecting people. And everyone would always ask me, because I'm in pretty decent shape, even now with a herniated disc. I'm still in pretty decent shape. I can just feel it. And so I was like, all right, let's have all these people that are asking me. I don't have time for that. So, but I have all these colleagues all over the world. I have buddies that are head strength coaches at multiple high-level sports organizations. I have buddies that contract work for one-on-one athletes. I have people that help people get out of pain. I mean, I would say I have a colleague in every continent, but probably Antarctica, which is cool, right? Africa, Europe, Asia, America, South, both Australia. I got a colleague everywhere, right? And these people are really knowledgeable. And I saw the shift in online happening, and I just wanted to connect the dots, right? I wanted to connect the person that was coming and asking me that I didn't have time for to the individual that's their business, and this evolving kind of economic landscape where individuals are trying to look for other sources of wellness help. And so all I did was connect the dots, and we're launching our company and prototype now to interact with these individuals in real time. So it kind of gives that consumer aspect of like, all right, there's no more searching, there's no more filtering, there's no more Google, Instagram. Like, you don't have to slide into somebody's DM or send them an email. It's like, let's just connect you in real time with that person, and let's give the wellness holistic approach to what's going on in the world and the attraction of it that most people have. Let's put some good tech behind it, because in the technology side of things, in conventional medicine, those guys are getting a lot of money poured into their ecosystem. Like, if you have a sore throat, or you're trying to get tested for, coronavirus or whatnot, like, those things are so accessible right now that it's easy. But when someone's like, I want an alternative approach, or they want to, fix something that's not the conventional way, there's nothing really out there that's going to connect somebody like they do in the conventional world. So, it's on the up and up, and it's new and it's cool. And I want to really be able to leverage technology and help that whole holistic category of health. So that's kind of my story from A to Z.
Love it.
And we're excited, man.
Dude, that's so cool. So I did want to get into kind of the nitty gritty of like Get Welly a little bit more.
Sure.
And specifically on, I love the alternative, right? I'm like more of a kind of one of the, I guess you could say, a rebel in nature. Like, I question things as it seems like you are. You like questioning kind of the philosophy of things. Is like big pharma the approach? Are we just pushing drugs on people and various surgeries? Or is there other alternatives that we can take as a measure, right? Is that last resort? I was talking to a guy on a flight back home from Atlanta. And I was just talking about like how Dr. Amen is a big cerebral scientist. He's a neuroscientist. And he talks about just that psychiatrists are the only doctors that aren't like essentially studied up on the actual physical organ of the brain, right? They're essentially trained to just give drugs out to people. Hey, oh, this is how you're thinking, or you're bipolar, or whatever it might be. So it's, and I'm not taking a shot at all, like,
yeah, you're good
across the board. That's not it. But I know there's obviously alternative measures, and that's honestly that's the creative side of like essentially Get Welly, is obviously identifying maybe different nutritional patterns, different the ways you can incorporate exercise into your daily diets. I call it like everything's a diet to me, whether it be obviously reading, whether it be, right now what I thought was really cool is you're trying to learn Spanish, as am I. So it's one of those things where I'm like obviously incorporating into my diet throughout a day from an overall mindset standpoint. But so tell me a little bit about just the specifics of kind of Get Welly, as far as what's incorporated overall. I know you're in beta right now, and there's probably only so much you actually physically can share before a full deployment. Give us some intrinsics on like the nutritional side, on like kind of the habit side, as far as kind of health and wealth and exercise.
Yeah. So, we wanted to put this product out into market, and we wanted it to be attractive to the consumer. And so we started out with kind of 3 categories that a consumer can choose from. Ones that were just going to attract somebody easy on the eyes, that doesn't go too deep, because what you're talking about with the psychology and all, like, we could go super deep, and I can get a lot of different modalities on there, which is happening. But so we're starting with yoga, exercise, and nutrition. So so as a consumer, you log in, and right now we have a B2B approach to start what we call the flywheel. So it's a marketplace, right? So we got a 2-sided marketplace. We have yoga, nutrition, exercise professionals, and then we have consumers. But the way we're starting this consumer flywheel, there's 2 flywheels, and we got to get them both going. And so the way we're starting the consumer flywheel is we're going into businesses, and we're using it as a value add for their employees. So if their employees will have access to use the app and make what I call an introductory call to a wellness professional. And so I wanted to start with those three categories because it's easy. People are aware of them, right? Like, you know, exercise, nutrition, and yoga, they're pretty common terms. And so those individuals on the business side, the employees, they'll have the opportunity to have a 30-minute call with that individual as of now. Now, come early December, probably maybe into January, after they have that call with that individual, they're going to be able to schedule and pay them. But I wanted to give these employees the opportunity to try as many as they wanted, right? And really find that person that they connect with. So, you know, the in-person connection is always there, but you got to look at it now as like the digital connection is there too. And so, you know, connecting the two parties and getting that individual where they might need to be. And look, somebody like yourself who has these practices every morning, you might not need to hire somebody, but you might have like one question with a very dense individual on the other end. And you might say, hey, like, look, I need to tweak like one thing, you know, what do you suggest? You know, and you have 30 minutes to have this conversation with that individual. And you might get really valid information within 30 minutes, or you might only need to schedule one time, right? Or if you like doing yoga at home, and you're into the one-on-one yoga and you don't want to go to a studio because you just don't want to be around people at this time or whatnot, do it at home. And it's on your own time. So that's the thing, right? Like, it's for the layman that doesn't know anything, but it's also could be for somebody who just needs that small tweak, that just needs to ask a question with somebody that's super validated and can answer it, right? And so we have that's the beauty of it, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So, I mean, a part of what I'm hearing too, accountability is so key to like everybody. Even though I'm like a little bit more self-driven, I know that 97, 98 probably % of Americans are not going to be driven. We are. I was talking to a same conversation actually with an individual. He's actually one of my business partners. That, you know, we're kind of driven to, and through our educational system, is to like obviously get a job, and once we get a job, we're facilitated. Then once we go through our K through 12, we then go into secondary education. Once we get that, we're trained to obviously get a job, and then always trained to do a little bit more, right? And we tend to pack on stress, right? Stress loaders. And I'm understanding the psychology of all these stress loaders. But one thing I love about like the B2B approach and that flywheel is that I was in that corporate environment, right? And did I work out in that corporate environment? 100%. But accountability is so imperative. And I think that's what also this gives to an extent too, is a structured plan. Hey, what do I need to do? I need to have that accountability and a progressive state along the way. And especially as like corporate America is transitioning more towards potentially fully digital, right? Where a lot of people aren't coming back to the office space. How much more important to create health when people are sitting down at their office? Like take a break. You know what I mean? Get on a call for like 30 minutes, maybe get a little, nutritional help, some yoga. Talk a little bit more also about, because this is something that honestly, like I struggle with, and this is like would be huge for me. I haven't transitioned to like yoga full time yet, but I understand the elasticity of the body is so important, right? And as people sit down, you have your, abductor complexes, anterior pelvic tilts that can hinder the body from just being in a relaxed state.
Dude, that's why I always stand when I do everything. Like my whole setup is standing. It helps me.
Yeah. I'm the same way, and I'll go into why it's helped my back actually, because Paul St. John, who I'm seeing here, so when you sit, the reason sitting is the new smoking, right? Is like, we're stacked like our central nervous system is our brain, right? It goes all the way up, right? And so those little discs that are in between each spine and that protective mechanism of the central nervous system, when we sit, It's the highest pressure that we can put on our disc. And so what I've noticed these past 3 days is like, I didn't have my standing set up. I now kind of jerry rigged my hotel, right? I got this like coffee table on top of this desk, and like it's at an angle. I thought my computer was going to fall off, but like, I wish I would have done this 2 days ago. But what I noticed over the past 2 days is like what you're talking about. The sitting is the new smoking. I mean, both are kind of garbage, but is that my spine when I was sitting was like so loaded, and I'm not having the nerve pain that I have, but I'm definitely sore. So what else did you say there? So you're right about the breaks. Like, people are working from home, right? They get caught up. And so like what I've noticed since my injury is like, I used to wake up at 5:36, go to the gym, come back and get into my day-to-day. But since I'm not lifting weights, you know what I do? I wake up. I've added like more of a meditative. I have a couple different practices of meditation. Like, we don't have to go deep into that rabbit hole, but that's what I do when I wake up. Maybe 15 up to 50 to an hour, 50 minutes to an hour. And so that's my new kind of early routine, couple of stretches. But what I notice is I go right to the computer, right? So my days might change. And so that's where the flexibility, like you talked about, comes in, to where, okay, log into the Welly app, hit exercise, talk to somebody about maybe what you can do this week to conquer some of your goals and get out of this kind of like work from home routine where you're like literally waking up, going right to screen, and then boom, you start getting into this like focus zone where the screen just doesn't stop. And people, to have an option like this where people can connect with somebody live, it's imperative to that work from home environment like you talked about.
Yeah, it's crazy. Talk a little bit more. I know I'm like probably getting a little bit more granular, and we'll dive into Welly even more, but kind of the yoga piece, the imperativeness,
Sure.
like from a kinesiology standpoint, right?
Okay, so yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to think about the questions as they're coming in. And so
yeah, you're good.
So you talked about, so I worked with a guy out of London. I met him in Barcelona. I actually lived in Barcelona for a few months. And so this guy he's the ex-physio of the Chelsea Football Club. He did some private consulting with Barcelona football players. Very knowledgeable guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so back on what you're talking about, yoga versus running versus lifting, it's all a balance, right? And you got to kind of be in the middle of all of it. Like, you need to be flexible, but you need to be strong. You need to be able to walk, but you need to be able to run. You need to be able to crawl, and you need to be able to sprint, right? And so you need to be able to kind of stay kind of balanced all these things. And so from a kinesiology standpoint, I wanted to give individuals the opportunity to connect with these individuals to keep this body, mind, spirit complex kind of balance. And so as we look into the future, over the last few weeks, I've had very dense calls with people all over the country about what do we add next, right? And that's something that I want to pull to consumers. But breathing techniques are huge. Breath work, meditative techniques are huge. And then sleep, like 3 things that I think people should talk to people about. And, there's other applications on the market that, offer music. You got calm.com, you have Headspace and all these things, right? And so they're cool and all. And don't get me wrong, there's value there. And they have a subscription-based service that offers these kind of like songs and like calming music. But at the end of the day, there's like people out there that know how to interact with these people and teach them these things, because it's more than just the music.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because I go on YouTube. There's a channel, by the way, for people who want free calming music. There's a channel called Yellow Brick Cinema, and they've got like 8-hour long live streams of like chill frequencies and stuff. And I can turn it down real low and still like work and get calls on my phone and all this kind of stuff. And it just kind of plays in the background. So I think that stuff cool. And like you said, I think it brings value. I would never pay for that.
Sure. like, so, you know, and the thing is, like, have you guys ever meditated? Like, have you ever gotten to a
I think I have,
meditative
but I don't
state?
think I've done well
I'll-
with it.
I'm
If I
gonna
had
be
my
I haven't
honest.
done. No, I haven't
Yeah,
done it.
so most people in general, like across the world, can't turn it off. And so when they
That's
go
what
into
I
a
struggled with. Like, I
yeah,
was
so when
chilling and I was relaxed, but
yeah,
I don't think it was off. It was still kind of.
and so when they get into this meditative state, whether it's guided or silent, what happens is these people end up falling asleep. And that's not meditation. That's their nervous system like saying, "Oh, boom, sleep." Like it's too, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, like, you know, I'm so calm that like they're, you know, meditation's like this consciousness thing where you're zen, you're aware, but you're
Mhm.
not sleep. Because when you're asleep, you're just immediately out. And so
Yeah,
that means too much was going on, and then boom, you're right to sleep and you just turned it off.
that's
And
me.
so exactly. But
I'm like,
there's coaches out there that help these individuals use breathing techniques and calming techniques to get them in that state. And it's more than just an app. You need the actual person. You know, I talked to some guy I was grabbing dinner last night here, and he just came up to me and we just started chatting. And what people have to realize is like that human interaction and the people that help other people, there is 100%, like, I know it, you know, I don't know if it's proven with like research, but you need that interaction and that help. It actually will help the person be more accountable, going back to what you were saying, right? As opposed to just an app that connects to a wearable that might give you some data, which is cool. But at the end of the day, the person to person is really going to take that person to the next level and where they want to get and how they want to change. So I don't know if that makes sense.
I dig it. It
That makes
does.
any sense.
I think what
No,
you're
it
saying,
does.
the guided meditation is what's lacking sometimes. There is, if you're trying to do it on your own and you're trying to just relax, like you said, I can turn on the chill zone YouTube tab and relax and stuff like that. But unless I had guidance on where that was taking me, I think that's what you're saying. And I think that's a human element that has to be done by a person or a professional. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, you have to talk to somebody, because it's like I told you, people just fall asleep, man. Especially
Right.
from the meditation side. And like, look, I wear wearables. This is an Aura ring. I think the company's out of Sweden, maybe Switzerland, one of the two. But look, it gives me great feedback. Like if I go take a nap, it tells me when my heart rate dropped. I know I got into a nap. Like I know I was just chilling, right?
Mhm.
There's been times where I've been meditating, not asleep, and it said I took a nap. So I know that like the feedback loop on this is awesome, right? But I
Mhm.
also know that I've been in the space for so long that I can get to these states from an exercise, like physical and non-physical, we'll call it. And I can get into those states like working out and sleeping and all that. Whereas an individual that just turns on an app, that's going to take them, I don't even know if they'll get there. They need that extra cushion, which is a person.
Yeah, I find it very difficult. So what we do, like I do from a like kind of a headspace standpoint, is because I'm very familiar with kind of how the chemicals released in the brain through breathing tactics. I don't know. I listened to a podcast with Gabby Reese on it. You familiar? I don't know if you're a surfer, but I hang around a few surfers. So Laird Hamilton is a Gabby
Nah,
Reese.
but Kelly Slater, maybe.
Yeah, dude, you are Kelly Slater. I was wondering coming up, who does this guy look like, dude? Kelly Slater's probably the most handsome guy in the world, though. So kudos to you. Probably get those good looks from your mom, huh? But I'm very familiar with the way the chemicals release in my brain, right? Even when I'm running. But what I find very, very difficult, and I have to release from this every day. So like, I don't really necessarily, I would say, go into meditation state, but I take gratitude walks. I got this from a guy named John Gordon. I follow him. We take gratitude walks to get in kind of a flow of gratitude. But one thing I cannot have with me is my phone, because there's all triggers of dopamine that are always released when I have my phone on me that say, hey, I got to grab my phone and check something, check if somebody texts me. And so you can't be truly grateful for anything if I'm going on a walk, with my wife and seeing my kids, if I'm getting those small triggers of dopamine and not a true like euphoria of dopamine. That, you know, the smaller is like will fatigue that dopamine release. I need a full release, and those walks help that, you know, for half hour, 45 minutes. So that's kind of my flow state of gratitude that we do every day. So like every time I get home from travel, last night we had 30 to 45 minutes, left my phone at home. I completely agree with you. Not all the time can you say that like I grab my phone and still be in that full meditative state. It's really got to be, you know, I think it really comes back to the accountability, talking to a professional. Hey, this is what you need to do. And let's try this for a week, you know, and see how that thing works. And that's where Welly comes in play. Get Welly really kind of, it progresses you through that state of that accountability, sets those goal patterns, maybe on a daily, maybe on a weekly basis, but allows
monthly.
You to
could be up to monthly. Yeah. Whatever you want. Right. Like it's not, it's on your own time. So
customizable approach.
If you feel like you need to check in weekly, cool. If you need to feel like you check in daily, you know, I mean, God bless. If you need to check in monthly, do it. You know, twice a month, like, you know, it's on your time. It's on and it's on their time too. So whatever the calendar and schedules allow for, like, just do it.
Dude, that's awesome.
So
where can we find it? Let me let me put the link on the website to the website here.
Yeah, sure.
So it's getwelly.com, right?
Yeah, getwelly.com. The company's Welly. I couldn't actually buy the domain. Some guy in Denmark, or I want to say, not Denmark. It's either Denmark or Holland. Like, I can't get a hold of this guy, but it's cool. So we
that's happened with social media accounts. You try and like reach out to somebody.
I just went ahead and, like, since we had the Get Welly domain, I just made all of my social handles Get Welly. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Love the branding on it. It's beautiful. So it's great. One thing, and I had the honor of sitting down with a guy this weekend, had a really in-depth conversation. I know I'm like super nerdy, as you are, but I'm super nerdy about like how the brain works, how the brain functions. So this guy had one of the coolest jobs, I mean, I think you probably can have, but for the U.S. Army, he actually studied hearing tactics and how it was cognitively associated in different environments for soldiers, right? So he actually studied hearing patterns when, you know, loud noises or whatever redirects, how you can isolate it and cognitively be aware and be absolutely present. So he actually physically studied kind of the brain's operation associated to hearing. I thought that was so cool, but I want to kind of like get to the point of like sleep and how imperative sleep is, right? You call yourself a healthpreneur. I love it. I was even talking to the Vincent brothers last podcast. They're trying to disassociate or get rid of entrepreneur, that term. No one can quite figure it out, but healthpreneur is a boss ass name. So anyways, the how imperative sleep is. You said you're obviously using tactics to show the level of sleep you get. I'm a hard 9 to 9:30 guy. If it goes past 9:30, I'm like pissed off about it. I was like, I need to get in bed right now because I'm waking up early. How imperative are sleep patterns? Recommend to listeners like some sleep patterns and how how Welly can actually assist in that process as well, because sleep replenishes the body. I know, the primary course of life is to reduce inflammation. That's what sleep does. When you mitigate, when you get less and less amount of sleep, you have more inflammation in your body, more stress, and that leads to the other things later on in life. So give us an idea of sleep. I know that's something we were conversing about even last night.
Yeah. So let me just touch base with the sleep in general. So, I mean, you're hitting it on the head. Like, do I get to bed at 9:30 every day? Sometimes no, just depending on how jacked up my nervous system is towards the end. I try to calm it down. Like, if I don't calm down around like 8:39, I probably stay up 10 to 11. If I don't calm down till 10 or 11, I'm definitely up till 12 or 1. But there's two phases, right? You got physical and hormonal repair and sleep, and those happen, first phase, second phase. And so that's why it's imperative to get that 10 to 6, 9 to 5, or, honestly, it's best to go no alarm and just go sundown to sun up, and then creating there's so many aspects of sleep, right?
Yeah,
like, what did you eat before? A lot magnesium is a huge supplement that is neglected in a lot of human bodies. It's just neglected. So I've been a huge magnesium component for, I don't know, over the last 12 years. I just crush magnesium. And so, but I'm not the expert, right? Like, this has just worked for me. People are just different, right? And so, creating a bat cave in your room. So I crank my AC down below 70 and my room is pitch black. And so if I don't create that environment, it's almost like you want to get into a hibernation state when you're when you're sleeping, right? So the bedroom should only be used for two things. There's two S's that it should be used for, right? And so, most people, like, they shouldn't have a TV in their room. Like, what's the point? It's, your bedroom is for, sorry, Pat, if you got a TV in your room, man, take it out tonight. No, I'm just kidding. But,
right.
The two X's, sex and sleep, that's what the bedroom should be used for.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to sit there and watch TV all day, man, I mean, you're just draining the nervous system. So back to the professionals on the app. So the guys that I brought in here to get through this testing phase that we're doing right now into beta, they have a really well-rounded approach. And so they can coach you through some sleeping habits, and they know a lot of these things, right? Does everybody know that? No, but that's why I want to incorporate sleep later into that holistic category. Like, I want to go anywhere from naturopath to homeopath to meditation, energy work, Reiki. And so, but I want sleep to be there as a category, because I think there's certain individuals, one that I talked to 2 nights ago, that really are like hyper focused in sleep. Not to say that somebody couldn't talk to one of the professionals on there now about sleep, but they're super hyper focused. And so what I've noticed is over my years is, like, as soon as I got done in the medical device world, and as soon as I got done the one-on-one training, which I sometimes had to wake up at 4:30 to see somebody at 5, right? Like, do you need 4:30 is early, man. Like, you're disrupting that hormonal repair. And then if you're going into when I was working med device and I had to keep my phone on, and I got a call, right? Hey, patient's on the table. We need you up here. Like, is the instrumentation here? Like, get up here now. That all affected sleep. And what I notice now is, if I have to set an alarm, like, I'm still kind of like I'm not going to sleeping that full 7 to 9 hours that I usually get. And I know when I don't sleep, I'm a nightmare. And I got off the phone with a Canadian last week, and there's a study that just came out that, like, college kids that get less than 4 hours, which is pretty. I have a sister in med school right now, so she's going through a DO program, so they run things a little different. They allow them to kind of focus on themselves, and it's not like this MD program. It's a little bit more of like a holistic osteopathic approach.
That's awesome.
But students that get 4 hours or less have been shown to have the same blood types as, like, a very severe type 2 diabetic. And so, and so another thing, like, one other tool that I've been using too is blue light glasses. Like, these things are these are from Switzerland, but complete change in my sleep patterns when I wear these. And so, because the screens and the light from all the screens, it affects a lot more than just sleep. I mean, there's hormonal things that get blocked and rises in cortisol, and it can go a lot deeper than just this flight level that we're talking about. And I think it really takes someone that knows what they're talking about to help that person, and that's where Welly comes in.
That's
and
awesome.
So
I dig it, dude.
And it's like this full approach, man, because I want to capture the holistic market with Welly, and the holistic approach is looking at the whole body. It's not hey, you're not going to go talk to a surgeon and he's going to say, oh yeah, my leg hurts, and then they're going to run a couple tests, and then bam, we want you to schedule surgery. It's like, all right, the leg hurts, but why? I'm not sleeping, but why? I'm not losing weight, but why? And so the why is so much deeper than just a pill, or just an exercise program, or just a nutrition program. Oh, I'm going keto. I'm going to lose weight, right? But back to the mindset, like, there's also a placebo effect. So if you do go keto and you tell yourself, hey, like keto is going to make me lose weight. You're probably going to lose weight.
Yeah.
And that's where the meditation and stuff comes in, because you can do all these things without having to actually do all these things. So
Love
that's where, like, it's just deep, man. And
Yeah.
the general population is just so unaware. And if we could just get people to drink clean water and walk, you'll see a huge shift.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true.
I mean, you know what I mean?
So imperative. I mean, like they were saying, I was listening to actually the guy who owns Tom Shoes, right? He's big into this. And he's like, dude, we always want to take Excedrin or Tylenol for our headaches. How about drinking like 2 glasses of water and hydrating your body real quick? That headache's probably not going to feel quite as bad. So
100%. Or how about massaging, like doing a little self massage on the side of your temple? These are all muscles, man. When you open, you like look around, like muscles are getting turned on, dude. If you're stressed out and clenching your teeth, or you're getting, let's just say you're in an angry mood. You know how an angry person like squints their face? Those muscles are contracted. All of a sudden they got a headache, but they're angry. So is it emotional or is it physical? Like, what's going on? Let's make that person smile, and maybe the headache goes away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know we're getting a little deep here, but I mean, there's a lot of, like, these are what these professionals on the Welly app can help with, and get down to the root cause of why someone needs to get better and wants to change their life. So,
yeah, it blows my mind. I mean, this is so cool, especially for big organization, going back kind of the business model of the 2 flywheels, because this is exactly the point of what I was saying. We're conditioned to get a job, right? And that the reality is like entrepreneurs and various things are not meant for everybody, right? It's just not meant for everybody. But like as employers tack on more and more loads of stress, right? They're going to have to identify vehicles that can also help their employees in their quality of life, right? Especially if they're going to be at home kind of feeling isolated, because a lot of people have, like it or not, like they feel isolated, right? And in this approach, employers can tag onto this and say, hey, look, this is a vehicle that we want to now utilize as outlets for our employee base, for just accountability to live better lives, So this is just a wellness plan overall that'll assist them and potentially just give a lot of good, clear headspace for and
100%.
Hopefully,
and
this
look,
is the movement.
It's not for everybody, man. Like, some of these people don't think these tactics work, right? They just, they want to go to the doctor. They want the pill, and that's cool. Let them take it and let them do their thing. Like, no judgments here. But for the person that wants to go beyond the pill, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, love it. Hey, well, Paul, man, I appreciate your time, dude. It's been amazing.
Yeah, sweet.
We're gonna do a part 2. We've already ran about 45 minutes, so this is good stuff. I love talking about this stuff.
Cool.
But hey, man, if you could give the peep where they can find you, where they can follow you. We got getwelly.com, but where, Insta, Facebook, where can they find you?
Getwelly.com is the website. Obviously, app is in a prototype phase now, so it's not released for the general public. But go ahead and just check us out. We got some cool videos on there. And then all of our social media handles are just / or at Getwelly. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And so, check us out as we, if you're interested, there's like an email chain that we can keep you in, to keep you updated. And then, we look forward to keep progressing this thing and showing the world, what's out there. So
huge.
Rock and roll.
Let's go, baby. Hang 10. Hang 10
out there. Have a great weekend.
Hang 10, Kelly.
Yeah.
Hey, Kelly Slater, this one's for you, baby. I know.
Yeah, we gotta tag Kelly Slater in this. This is ridiculous.
Let's tag him.
Look, next time we got to figure out this camera thing, because it feels all distorted going right and left. But I've gotten Kelly Slater before. I'm a little scruffy now. Forgot my beard trimmer, but when it gets a little lighter, I do. I'd love to meet Kelly. I want to learn how to surf as well. It's just I've always been on the East Coast, and California can have it with their taxes and whatnot. So
I used to live there. I know. I laugh.
So yeah.
Rock and roll. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Follow
it.
Paul, hit up Get Welly, and we'll see everybody